This episode of the Towing Life podcast is brought to you by BA Products. From innovative products such as the Container Link, Tanker Tube, Frame Hook, patented 8-point tie-down, and more, BA Products is always developing products to better assist towers today and for tomorrow. Reach out to one of our BA distributors today to see how we can help elevate your towing and recovery procedures.
Oh, Canada.
No, it's not our national anthem. See if you can sing the American national anthem.
Oh, well, let me pull up the lyrics then.
No, don't pull up the lyrics. You got it off the top of your head. What do you think the American national anthem is?
I can't say I've even heard it in like a couple of years.
Have you not watched sports?
I don't watch sports.
They're on. Yeah, you don't.
I don't watch sports.
You have no idea how exciting it is as a Canadian when two Canadian teams play each other and we don't have to listen to two anthems.
Huh.
I'm sure they understand
that
this.
Doesn't happen much, though.
It is all about America today.
Hey everyone, I'm Brad from Calgary.
This is Sean from Cambridge, Ontario.
I'm Terry from Cornwall, Ontario.
Hey, this is Larry from Pitt Meadows, British Columbia, and you're listening to the Towing Life podcast.
Welcome to the Towing Life podcast, where the ditches are deep, the trucks are loaded, but the drivers are not. I'm your host, TowManG, and as usual, I'm joined by my friend, former co-worker, the one chain wonder himself, the man with he's doing some funny faces, which is getting me a little off the cusp here. Anyways, I'm TowManG, and you all know PlainGuy.
And welcome to the Towing Life podcast. Wow, that was the worst take of an intro we have ever had. How are you, G? How are you?
Well, I hope that take doesn't set the trend for this episode because I actually had an all right day.
Well, it's good to hear. Normally you're complaining about another day, another dollar. So the fact that you're sitting here telling me you've had a good day has got to be count for something.
Oh, it was a shitty day, but I'm saying I had a good day for YouTube.
Oh, okay, perfect. So for the listener's sake, you had a good day. I got you.
Yeah.
I got you. So we are, if you haven't seen in the title already, and I am naming it, I don't care. God bless the USA. We are getting into a whole lot of American news today. I thought we had some issues up here. Thanks to social media and the internet and news articles and some new laws being passed in different areas, you guys have it a whole lot worse depending on what state you live and tow in. So before we do get into that, it is a good time to mention, if you have any subjects, questions, concerns, comments about what we're going to talk about here today, you can let us know. First and foremost, easiest way, visit us, www.towinglife.ca. You will find all the information there. You can find a form to contact us. You can also, if you'd rather, email us directly at thetowinglife@gmail.com or by searching at the Towing Life podcast on Facebook. All you have to do is send us a message. We are going to get into some topics that we have done a bit of research on. I think there are issues that face the industry as a whole, so we can speak to them with the experience that we've had as well. But if there's anything that we're missing, or if maybe we got it 100% wrong, which is very possible, don't hesitate. You can reach out. If you are watching over on the YouTube side, don't forget that you can comment down below while you are at it. Don't forget to hit that like and subscribe so that you can get notified when new episodes drop every Tuesday. We have been consistent since the holidays every Tuesday. We are already at episode 45, which is insane. I can't believe how long it's been. Gee, I can't speak for you, but like this has been.
It feels like we started yesterday. It doesn't feel like it's been 45 weeks.
No, it is absolutely unreal. We do have some special things planned for the 52nd episode. We will get into that in a couple weeks. We don't want to get too far ahead of ourselves, but I guess we're getting close because that's only 7 weeks away. Yeah. So stay tuned. Find us on the social media. That is the best spot where you will find all the information, or the website. We will announce it there as well. Getting into a couple of the things, don't forget on the website, and there is a link. to the merchandise that we do have. You will find merchandise for the shirt similar to what G is wearing, which was recapped in our wonderful song that we played at the intro. If YouTube or Facebook or anywhere that we try and play this allows
Did
it
you
to play.
ever fix that hourly rate?
Nope. I think that's part of it. I think that is, you know what I mean?
Minimum.
We're illiterate too. Yeah, minimum. But there's I'm sexy and I tow it shirts. There is mugs for
You
dispatch.
might want to get those shirts quickly because when this song drops, they're going to sell out like hotcakes.
I think so. The I'm sexy and I tow it shirts are going to be sold out very soon when that video, somebody grabs that, throws it up somewhere, and I become Facebook famous.
But you're not going to get any of the credit for it.
Oh, absolutely not, because it's not my song. There's some stuff for the dispatchers. We all know that we like to pick on dispatchers. So why not show them a little love with a wonderful dispatch? It's like towing, but smarter. Hoodie and mug also available in the merchandise store. You can find all the links and information to all of it at www.towinglife.ca. And as everyone's seen on the social media, if you are following this week, we did go out. We did something I was very proud of. We went out and we got involved with a couple local motorsport teams, local to me, not local to you. Yeah. And what a week it was. So for those of you that don't know, we sponsor a go-kart, Troy Etherington, running, it's on the photo. I can't remember what it was. Junior 3, whatever that means. I'm not 100% sure. I want to say Troy's probably about 13, 14. He's been into racing a couple years. Great kid. Amazing kid. Maybe we'll have him on the show one day. He went out and won the first feature of the year. Got his trophy, all that. He was very proud of that. And then that was on a Tuesday night. On a Sunday night, we have a mini stock car as well. Pierre Picard with his first ever feature win. This guy's been at it for years. The excitement that he had out of it, that we could be a part of it, was awesome. It was a great race. I got to see it all. And yeah, so congratulations to both those drivers. I think it is something great that we're doing. We hope to continue with more in the future. This show has allowed us to do fun things like that. This show has allowed us to do so much I never thought it would.
Yeah.
I know you didn't, because when we started off, you had no idea where this show was going.
No, I just thought I was making some YouTube videos with a former coworker, and that was about it. And here we are.
And here we are. So, right off the hop, we got something special. We are going to get into how much of a dick is TowManG. So without further ado, I will remember to play the video this time. How much of it is TowManG? And for this segment, we're going to bring in our wonderful producer, Sarah, who, if you guys do not remember, was with us for the Jeopardy. She is going to be the judge because it has come to my attention that I am too biased and too mean to G to be a
You're the
judge.
one that's coming up with the questions. You're the one that's proposing the questions. And if you're the one calculating how much of a dick I am, it is pretty biased, you know.
I'm the judge, jury, and executioner. Get used to it. Let's go. Well, welcome back, Sarah.
Hey, thanks. Good to be here again.
Absolutely.
You guys didn't kick me off after Jeopardy.
No, Jeopardy was great. So we've brought you in for even more fun. So,
You're
Sarah,
have to get a new picture with my new hat.
That is
should I
okay.
Should I sit like that? Just so it's like, you know, the same?
So it looks legit.
Yeah.
Sarah, before we even get into this question, I would like to ask you, on a scale of 1 to 5, how much of a dick is TowManG already?
Right at this moment? Oh, come on. Give him a chance.
With your experience of TowManG, where are you leaning? I think 4.5.
I'm a pretty unbiased person. It comes from my obvious, journalism background. So I'm going to put him at 2.5, and we'll see where he goes from here.
Thanks. Right down the middle. That's a perfect score. Not too bad, not too good. It's a good way not to cause any problems.
All right, that is fair. So for future Sarah, we'll be the judge of how much of a dick is TowManG, and she can even throw me a score in if she wants in there too. But God knows, we got to set the scale higher than 5. All right, G. This question is going to be a little different than most, and the reason is it is not going to apply as you as a customer, you as a tower. I want you to take your hat off for a second. Take your hat off. Okay. Now I want you to put your management hat on for a second. Okay. So you go find it. Okay. That's the management hat. The backwards hat is clearly the management hat. Okay. I'm in. Does he have another one?
Two hats.
The same hat, but okay.
No, it's two hats.
Okay. So put on your manager hat for a second. An employee asks you for a scheduled day off, right?
Mm-hmm.
You reject the day off for a justified reason, whatever that reason may be, whether there's lack of coverage, whether they've been requesting a bunch of days. It doesn't matter what it is, right? The reason is justified.
Okay.
The driver then that day that they had requested off that you refused just calls in sick the day of. She says, I'm not feeling good. I'm not coming in today. What do you do?
Do they have sick time to use up? Like sick days?
Are there sick days in towing?
Some of them do.
Some of them do. Okay, let's say no, they don't have sick
days. Some companies do. They don't have sick days?
Use their sick days.
So they're all out of sick days.
They're all out of sick days.
Give them a written warning. Unless he can provide a doctor's note. What else can you do?
I don't believe in doctor's notes. First of all, somebody once told me, I don't remember who it was, if you were well enough to go to the doctor, you're well enough to go to work.
Yeah, I guess.
So you were telling me as a manager, if I pulled that on you, all you're doing is give me a written warning, and I'm going.
Well, I'm going to be pissed off.
I've known you longer than that.
I'm going to be pissed off. But as a manager working with an employee, with the labor board and everything, there's just a line that you can't cross. Am I going to be upset with you? Absolutely. What steps can I do within the company, within my rules and regulations of being your manager? I'm going to give you a written warning, and I might. You wanted your next scheduled day off. Well, it's going to come under more scrutiny, right? Because obviously you've got better things to do, right? I can't prove if you were sick or not, right? So you weren't willing to help us out when we needed it. Why should I be inclined to help you out as long as I've got probable reason to say no to your time off? Which obviously if I did in the first place.
Take your manager hat off.
Okay.
Put your driver hat back on.
Okay.
How are we dealing with that driver now?
Bunch of curse words. You better find someone to cover you. Because I'm not working short staff because you want to go to your friend's bachelor party last minute. Right? You knew about this day a month ahead of time.
That someone pissed you off about.
You knew about this thing a month ahead of time, and you told me yesterday that, hey, I'm actually going to go, even though they didn't accept my time off. And be like, well, guess what? Screw you. I'm never covering for you again.
That doesn't sound like off the cuff. Sarah, what do you think? How much of a dick is TowManG in that situation? You can rate him separately as a manager and as a employee or as a coworker, but what are you thinking on that?
That was a good question. I like the different perspectives. I think you'd make a really good manager, TowManG.
Thank you.
I mean, what situation can he be in? Because, like, as we're going to talk about later today, we're kind of facing shortages in the industry already. So you can't just be like, you're out of here. And I'm worried that employees know this. They're like, well, what are they going to do? You can't fire me. So they're going to use that to their advantage. As a manager, that's the best he could do. So I don't think he's a dick at all. I think he gets a gold star for a manager.
A gold star as a manager. Wow. Look out, Sarah. His head won't fit through the door. After
Let me just get a little closer to the camera to represent my head.
Yeah. Only
but then, as a coworker, who does it end up screwing over the most anyways? The manager, he's going to go on with his day. It's the other guys working the shift that are going to get screwed. So
yeah, it's true. We used to, and gee, when you and I worked together, the one thing that I found is we had a direct manager, which was the ownership. It was ownership to drivers, right? There was no ownership manager. And the one thing I found is that the drivers had a great way of self-policing. Meaning,
we didn't go to the owners for anything unless we
no. The drivers would deal with themselves. If we had a problem with something G did, 2 or 3 drivers would make it very clear with him. And that would be enough to, you know what I mean? for the guys that hung around and were worth keeping around, enough for them to think, hey,
Yeah.
maybe I got to smarten up because I respect these guys. I work with these guys. I want to get along with these guys.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? So it was almost like like management didn't need to discipline because coworkers would. And now that can be a very toxic workplace, depending on the situation and depending on if anyone has any ill will or malicious intent behind that.
Yeah.
But for the most part, I know where I was. It worked. It worked really well.
Careful, because now what you're describing is self-regulating, and that terrifies people. At least the people in charge.
Gee, are you listening? Those are called segues. She is great at them.
But I wasn't
Oh,
finished
the
talking
segue
about it.
That's what a segue is, though.
That was a beautiful
back up.
segue.
If this
But
is
let's
the
hit
first time
rewind and go back.
Yes, if this is the first time you were listening, G has made some great segues over the years. We could put an album together of just that.
I think I might eventually.
But yes, it is a type of self-regulation among the employees. And yes, regulation can be bad if it's not put in place with all the parties involved.
But
So
I would like to say my piece on this before we move on.
Sorry,
Because
Sarah and I are having a great conversation.
I'm a very big believer of personal life and work life. I'm not friends with my owners. I don't follow them on Facebook, nothing like that. They do their personal lives. They invite me to a party. Unless it's a work function, I don't go. Because that's their personal life. And at the end of the day, if he can fire me, I don't want friendship to get in the way of any actions I do towards him or him towards me.
That could be a whole segment of its own, but I agree.
Yeah, that's another topic altogether, is healthy
But I think
relationships within the workplace.
that
Especially
relationship
if it's
works
such
better
tight-
with the coworkers still helping you out, because you've got that buddy side. You're friends with your coworkers. But then at the flip of a switch, boom. Hey, listen, bud. I know we're chummy, but this is what you're doing, and it needs to stop. Right? And I think that resonates with you more than just a superior yelling down at you, telling you to stop.
Yeah, I think that's true. I think it's kind of like your parents going to you, I'm not mad, I'm disappointed. That's what you get when a coworker will, you know what I mean, mention to
Call
you
you out
or
on the
talk
bullshit.
about something. Yeah, exactly. Right. There's more of a respecting, not that there should be a respect issue between management and employees, but you're all right. It hits a little deeper when it's a friend of yours, when it's an equal of yours, when it's, you know what I mean, somebody that you work side by side in the ditch. It absolutely does hit you a little differently. I agree with that. So you said you were giving him a gold star on the manager side, and as the coworker side, I mean, how do you argue with that? It is true. It's like, smarten up. I said I'd cover for you, and this is what I got for it. You can't. I was hoping you'd.
If you're not a dick, then that coworker's just going to walk all over you again. So
Exactly.
What else
You got to
do
put
you do?
your foot down eventually.
Especially with all the A-type personalities in towing, you have to do something. You have to do something about it. So, thank you, Sarah, for being the wonderful judge of how much of a dick is TowManG. We will hear more from you as we go with these episodes. For now, I'm going to throw you back into the green room, and we are going to get into some bad things that we shouldn't get into, because God bless the USA. I will say it again.
Bye, guys.
Bye, Sarah.
So, as Sarah wonderfully segued into multiple topics that we do have on the show for today, I might just bring her in to segue things. I might just, when we get stuck, I'm just going to bring Sarah in. I'm going to get rid of you, and I'm going to go, Sarah, how do we get to the next topic? She is absolutely wonderful to have. We could not do the show without her. She has already brought wonderful things, and she will continue to bring wonderful things. So the one thing we were talking about is, what do you do? What do you do when employees know that there's a shortage and employees see you having a hard time to hire? One thing we are seeing is a tow truck driver shortage in the industry. Now, this article specifically, which we will link in the description and everything else, comes from Spectrum News 1 out of, it says Columbus, but the article's out of Cincinnati. Sarah, can you correct me if I'm wrong? Is Columbus and Cincinnati both in Ohio, I'm guessing? So bad. I can't do an episode called God Bless the USA if I don't know basic USA geography. So this is an article that is coming out of Columbus, and it mentions in Cincinnati. Before heading out on the roads this summer trip, it's a good idea to make sure your car is just as prepared for the journey as the passengers. The vehicle is up for the journey. That was an interesting writing we got going on there. According to AAA, who this sounds like a basic AAA spring commercial, be sure your car is summer ready. According to AAA and other industry sources, there may be a delay in assistance for car breakdowns because there are fewer tow trucks on the road than before the pandemic. Now, I would like to know where they got the numbers. I don't know how the states tracks. I know where we are in Ontario, they have a hard time nailing down how many tow trucks there actually was. That was a huge problem that they were having when they were trying to come up with pilot projects. Wait times, even on sunny days with no major traffic issues, have been reported longer than normal by some members of the American Automobile Association. They told me it would be 14 hours to give me a tow, said Tony Cursum, an AAA Plus member in Ohio who called for help in April after blowing a tire in nearby Covington, Kentucky. Cursum got connected to a dispatcher in New Jersey. I called them at 5 p.m. and they said they couldn't respond until 7 a.m. the next morning, and that wasn't going to work, he said. So we are seeing a massive issue with roadside delays. I don't know about you, G, but in our area, we're seeing the same thing. It's hard to find operators, and we are
Well, it's
going to
not
get
even.
more and more.
It is the operators, but it's also if you have the operators, but what if one of your trucks goes down? What if one of your trucks gets into an accident? We're having a hard time getting trucks, right? To order a Freightliner chassis, they're booking 2 years from now, right?
Yeah.
So even if you do have the drivers, you need a seat for them to be in.
That is true. You know what? That is things that would affect all these wait times for these roadsides. Sarah was nice enough to tell us, yes, they are both in Ohio. I thought so, based on the article, but I wasn't sure. So my apologies to all those in Ohio. But no, it's true. I've got a Dodge right now that's getting brakes done that I'm waiting on a seal, and we had to find a dealership 4 hours away that could get us a seal within a couple days because our local dealership was telling us they couldn't get one for about 4 weeks.
Yeah.
And so a brake job, something as simple as a brake job, is putting a truck out of commission, is building on downtime, all because and then you throw the driver shortage in it and the truck shortage and the inability to order new trucks.
Yeah.
And guess what? And roadside rates still being what they were in 1970. Throw all those things together, and what do you think is going to happen?
Well,
Right?
if you think about it, if you have two calls that come in at the same time, same distance apart, just in opposite directions, a cash call for an unlock and a roadside call for an unlock, which one are you going to first?
Cash call, 100%.
100%, because that's your own customer, right?
Yeah.
Now, today was a perfect example. I was a busy driver, running around in town, doing everything. All the calls that I was doing were almost 2 hours old, right?
Mhm.
We had 3 trucks on the road. One of them was out in London for a 8-hour round trip, and the other one was doing back-to-back runs to the city, which left one truck in town. One guy can only do so much because it's only one truck. And if I'm already 2 hours behind when I get back into town, I can keep banging those off. But if they're coming in as fast as I'm doing them, I'm not making any ground.
100%. Everything's just continuing to build up. No, it's true. I don't know about you, and I see mixed opinions. I was on social media right before we were recording, and I seen some folks out of California saying it's been slower than it's been in a long time, and we're seeing drop-offs. And I don't know about you guys, but where I am, it hasn't stopped since winter. High
We
gas
had a
prices,
big
we kept
slowdown.
thinking would knock it down. We really thought high gas prices would have an impact on it, and it hasn't. It is steady. The last 2 days will be the first time that I've gotten to the shop and there's been a couple guys at the shop and it's like, hey, let's wash this truck. Let's do this kind of stuff. Let's get that one in for maintenance. We haven't had that up until this week. So, you throw all those issues that we're having with parts, with hiring, with, there's got to be a correction to the industry somehow. And what we're also going to get into is that correction has to involve input from the industry, right? We called this episode God Bless the USA for a reason, because Colorado, what the hell are you guys doing in Colorado? If you are from, your team just made the Stanley Cup Finals. I don't know if you watch hockey to know that, but you guys are on a roll. And then I read this article. First, I seen a social media post and it says, hey, how you Colorado guys liking this new fee to release cars or whatever it was. And I started doing some digging. And Colorado today signed in a bill, the Colorado Towing Bill of Rights. We have one of those too. We do not get screwed as hard as you do. I can tell you that 100%.
Nope.
So the Colorado signed in the Towing Bill of Rights. The biggest change, tow yards will have to return your car if you are able to pay 15% of the fees, capped at $60.
$60.
$60. The vehicle owner will still have to pay off the rest, but will not be required to do so immediately to get their car back.
Now, does it state anything on a time frame of payment or any repercussions of non-payment?
It does not go into details. You know what $60 doesn't buy you?
It doesn't buy you a tow.
The 8-point tie down that you were going to use to tow that car to the pound.
Yeah.
Right? It's not going to buy you that. You know where I get my 8-point tie downs from? From innovative products such as container links, tanker tubes, frame hooks, and the patented 8-point tie down and more. BA Products is always developing products to better assist towers today and for tomorrow. I've said it before and I will say it again. If you don't have a piece of BA equipment on your truck, get out of here. Get out of here. Go over to some other towing podcast because the stuff they have is unreal. And I was looking through a catalog just the other day. Go on baproduct.com, baprod.com, and just look through the online catalog. It's like a kid in a candy store. You will see toys and tools that you didn't even know you need that will make your life so much easier. So reach out today to one of their BA distributors to see how they can help elevate your towing and recovery procedures. Now back to you, Colorado. So $60 is this cap. Yeah, I don't know what the agreement is if they have to pay out, what are the terms of the repayment?
Yeah.
So does this allow the state to pay their drivers? Is the state going to come good for it if the customer takes their car, which is the one thing that you have to guarantee payment?
Yeah.
And you release it to them and they just never come back. They're gone. See you later.
Yeah.
Have a good one. What do you do? Right? Is the state going to guarantee payment? Are the employees going to take 15% or capped at $60 of their wages while you get paid on these cars? Like, don't get me wrong. Ontario has some weird stat where 30% of vehicles get abandoned in impound yards. I don't know what that stat is in Colorado. I would love to see it if it's out there. How do you do that? How do you take away holding the vehicles? What guarantees payment? How do you take away that guarantee and enforce this on? This is government overstep in the wrong way.
But you also got to think about, this is a different problem than what we're having here. Is what I think this is trying to fix is the private parking enforcement, which we don't have as much up here, at least in Ontario. There's a lot more red tape and we got to go through bylaws more so. And auto loaders don't necessarily hold up super well in our winters. But that's besides the point. So I feel like the actual parking lots to where the private property owner says, hey, to a towing company, I want you to do my towing out of a parking lot. And they're like, okay, this is our rate. And this is where we're going to take the car. They say, sure. The towing company puts up their own signs in most cases, and they pick up the car and they tow it. And then it's up for the customer to take a look at that sign and find a number. That I can see having some sort of payment plan set up to where if you don't pay it within a year, it goes on a license plate sticker fee, or you can't renew your license or something like that. And that fee has to be paid before you can drive and you get your car back. I can see that working a little bit better, but I don't think we have as much of the information that we need, because how is it going to be enforced? How can we guarantee payment? All these pilot projects that we're seeing, Ontario included, it's all to protect the customer. But there's nothing ever to protect the tower or to protect the company. And that's all fine and dandy. But at what point does the customer start bankrupting these towing companies because of all this?
Absolutely. We just seen in Cincinnati, in Ohio, they've said that they have less tow trucks now than they had before the pandemic. Yeah. So, consumer, I'm not saying that's all consumer. The pandemic, let's be clear, when it came to a lot of businesses, some businesses, it amplified issues they were already having. It didn't, cause a business to just that was doing well to completely shut down. A lot of times it amplified businesses that were well established were able to save things here and there. But no, it's true. I'm all for protecting the consumer. I'm all for the consumer bill of rights that we have here in Ontario, where you have the right to your tow truck, other than if you're in the private zones. You have the right to an estimate. It has to stay within a certain percentage of that estimate. I agree with all those things. But when you start dictating what I can charge or what a customer has to pay me in order to release the vehicle, come on. Where do we draw the line?
What if, like, I know for ourselves, like, we get a lot of cars that are just left in our control. For us to go and get an ownership, get a used car package, and get everything we need to turn around and resell that car, the price is more than what we're normally going to be getting for said vehicle. So something like this, if you do have a lot of cars sitting in your lot and it's a lot of red tape to even be able to send that to a scrapyard, something like this could help get those cars out of your impound so you have more room for better paying police calls or MVCs or something like that.
It's yes, but if you're doing them at a loss and you're moving more cars through at a loss, then it's not a gain.
But as long as there's a written agreement and enforcement to where that person has to come due, you get your $60 up front. That pays probably the driver's portion. I know the company is going to be out money, fuel expenses, wear and tear, that kind of stuff, which is never good because that's just a snowball going down a hill. It's not good. But if your pound is full with these cars that people can't afford to pick up, where are you putting more? Right now, you're looking at getting a bigger pound or putting up new fencing. In some zones, you can't physically do that. I know it's around us, it's very hard to open up an impound lot, let alone expand one. Like, I can see pros and cons. I can see where the government is coming from. I feel like they've skipped over a lot of steps to get to this final look what we can do without really doing the appropriate steps to get to that spot.
Well, Sarah was wonderful to give us a link to an article from just last year. Hundreds of abandoned cars now filling impound lot could cost taxpayers. They're referring to a police impound lot where these vehicles are not being picked up. Right. And so they're saying, reach out to us. We'll help you out because I'm guessing, I haven't been able to kind of read through it as you're kind of going. It sounds like their police lot is filling up. They're not coming to pick them up. They're not paying for them. The taxpayers are losing the money. Well, guess what? Now we turn that onto the private sector when it comes to these private parkings. And that's the towing industry. They don't have the taxpayers to pay for this. That is the company that has to absorb that cost on their own. And now you're saying release it. Could lowering impound costs help the vehicles get picked up? Maybe. I don't think capping it and giving their vehicle. I don't think $60 is appropriate. Yeah. One of the arguments made in the article was that that non-consensual tows, which, let's not get mistaken, that's what this is about, is non-consensual tows, whether it be the private parking. I'm guessing whether it be DUIs, all those things are non-consensual tows where the consumer doesn't have the choice on who's picking up their vehicle. Non-consensual tows should be the same price as consensual tows. No. And I disagree strongly. Yeah. Right? A consensual tow, let's talk about roadsides, let's talk about all that kind of stuff, or even just cash calls are, hey, my car is broken down. Here are my keys. This is where it's going. Okay, cool. I'm in. Right? Yes, I might have to do a little bit of work if it's a lowered car. Maybe this one doesn't start. Maybe there's a brake locked on, whatever. A consensual tow, an unconsensual tow, or non-consensual tow. This episode is brought to you by the word consent. A non-consensual tow has a lot more work involved because guaranteed the wheels are locked, possibly turned, all this kind of stuff. You have positioning. You can't push the car out to get access. You can't do any of those things. You have a lot more work to do. There is no reason that tow should be the same as a customer handing you the keys to the car and having it towed. Using that argument shows you that the government has no idea what it is like to actually operate a tow truck, because if they did, that is one of the first things they would realize.
I'll give you a quick example. I was doing a winch out on this guy's truck, and I had you sit in it with it running, steer for me. And I was pulling them up, got got it so the front driver's wheel was just about to crest onto the shoulder of the road. Then a couple of police cars showing up. Apparently, there's reports of a drunk driver matching his description. He turns the truck off, sitting at the angle, and he talks to the police for almost 40 minutes. I get the go-ahead. He's good to go. I start to pull. I get the tension tight. Tell him, hey, start your truck, put it back into neutral. And it doesn't start because it's sitting on the angle. Now I have to finish dragging him out of the ditch with the truck into park because this is one of the new 4th-gen Rams or 5th-gen Rams with the turn dial and no shift release. That was easily accessible.
Huh? Okay. I was going to say, no shift release. They all have shift releases on the Dodges.
Yes, but I'm not going to go start tearing apart his center console on this angle when I just need to get out of there and it's in pouring down rain. So
that's fair.
I dragged it out of the ditch, but I'm now sitting there longer for the police to do their investigation, and now I'm working harder. Obviously, I charged a bit more. I had what was a single line pull now became a double line pull because that truck doesn't roll anymore or it doesn't drive.
Yeah,
so it made my job harder.
Yeah.
Right.
And so that's the same thing that you have now. Again, down in some of these states, especially in the warmer areas, yes, the self-loaders. You guys, we've all seen the videos of you backing up, hooking, booking, and being gone like a boss. I've seen them. You've seen them.
Yeah.
Everyone's seen them. Okay. You know
Especially
what?
That guy with the runaway ambulance.
You should probably charge the same as a consensual tow, because if my job was that easy, god damn. Now, as long as you're going around the corner and doing your straps and your chains, I'm in.
Yeah.
But no, it's true. There's something different that is involved with it, but the government doesn't look at that. The government just goes, well, towing a car is towing a car. Kind of like pulling a car out of a ditch that's, is the same as pulling a pickup truck out of the ditch with no wheels. It's on its roof. No, there is costs involved with every service. And the more that they keep trying to push this down, right? I'm from the government and I'm here to help. And that's the worst part is right in the article, the towing industry didn't immediately push back on this bill. In January, Connolly told Colorado Public Radio, Connolly, by the way, I will double check up in this article. John Connolly is the president of the Towing and Recovery Professionals of Colorado. Connolly told Colorado Public Radio that this group looked forward to working with lawmakers to close loopholes in current private property laws to help protect consumers and the integrity of the towing industry. Yeah. Similar to what I'm saying, I am all for closing loopholes. I'm all for protecting the consumer. Yeah. But Connolly now says the legislators didn't work with stakeholders to hash out the bill's language, and as a result, the bill doesn't address what they say it will address. The sponsors, he said, are too young in the legislature and don't know what they are doing. Mm-hmm. This is a common theme. It happened in farming. It happened in all kinds of industries. The problem is that unless you are boots on the ground and have an active investment in the industry, you don't truly see what goes into it. Right? These government legislators will come in, and I'm not saying they're all bad, and I'm not saying they do it with bad intentions. But the towing industry or association went, yes, we want to work with you. We want to make things better too. And then they said, okay, this is the law we're proposing. And they went, well, no, that doesn't address the issue. And they're like, okay, we don't really care about your opinion. Here's your bill.
We're going to do it anyways.
We're going to do it anyways. So it's like, you can't ask for the stakeholders' opinion on it and then not.
Yeah, it's like saving face.
Yeah,
they
lawmakers
went and said
wanted to address the cost question. Right now, the price difference between consensual and non-consensual tows can be hundreds of dollars. The bill would mandate that carriers bring the non-consensual tow fees in line with what they charge for consensual tows. How about this? It doesn't have keys. Here's the fee. I needed to dolly it. Here's the fee. I needed to, you know what I mean? It was in a tight spot. Photos. God damn it. We have the technology. As long as you are writing a bill, and guys, stop writing tow. This done. That's the bill. No. Give a breakout. If you want to charge $300 for something, I'm in. Justify it. Show me photos.
I think that's a big issue for a lot of things.
Yeah. Just justify. If you can justify it, I will pay it. Yeah. And if you can justify it, the customer should pay it.
Yeah. Like even if you got to write a paragraph down on a separate piece of paper so you can fax that with the copy of an invoice. Right, and say this is why it costs so much, because a lot of times the comment section on those bills aren't that big. So I get why you're trying to condense everything. But in this day and age, people want to know what their money's going for. And if they fight back against that, you've got dash cams in your trucks. Take that video, upload it, email it to them. Say, this is why it took me so long. With
This is
photos.
why it took me so long. I had to get in there. This is why I had to charge extra time. This is why I had to charge for a spotter or a laborer. Justify the bill. And then when you go to the government and you want to complain, you go, here's my broken out. It's a double-edged sword. You want the government to listen to you, you got to do things right in the first place. And a lot of times we're seeing that it, and you know, I don't know if this association, God knows there's multiple ones in Ontario. Maybe this one isn't the most respectable association. Maybe that's the problem we're seeing. I don't know. Mr. Connolly, whatever his name is. I hope he's,
if you're listening, reach out to us.
I hope he's doing well. Absolutely. But you know, we dig our own grave. And then the government comes in and we think that the government is here because we fucked up.
Yeah.
What makes you think they want to hear what we have to say? So remember that before you invite them to the dinner table. Yeah. Yeah. We messed up. They needed to intervene. And now we want to say on how they intervene. Remember how they got to the dinner table. Remember how they got there before you think it's a good idea.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, like it's not everyone. It's not. But the bad apples always draw the flags, right?
The bad actors ruin it for the good. Absolutely.
Yeah. And now the best thing that we can do right now as the good guys is to do everything as by the book as we can. Do those breakdowns on the bills. Explain to your customer when they come in to pay the bill, like this is why it costs this much, and do an actual breakdown, right?
Yep.
Explain to them. Even go out to the car and show them, okay, well, when the car is locked and the keys are in it, these wheels don't turn. Show them, try to rock the car back and forth and just show them that it's going to take longer. We're seeing that with the fuel surcharges now. Now that people can see that the fuel has gone through the roof, they're okay with paying a little bit extra, right?
Yeah.
If you can show someone, they're more likely. Yeah. Yeah. It boils down to justifying what you used and how you used it.
That is fair. So this episode of the Towing Life podcast was brought to you by the word consent and justify. And on that note, G, why don't you take us on out?
I would just like to thank BA Products once again for sponsoring another episode by us. It's awesome to have you guys here, and it's awesome to have all you guys here, all the listeners. Thank you. Without you, the show wouldn't be what it is today. So with that said,
thank you, Sarah.
Thank you very much, and we'll see you next time. Toodles.
Take care.